Neill, you say that you did not try to bring a direct, like, metaphor across about the whole xenophobia, acceptance thing. People have said that that it feels quite direct.
Yeah.
Was there some kind of hidden message there, or?
No, I mean, if people, I think it's accurate to say that there are direct metaphors for sure. It's inescapable. Yeah. I mean, that's accurate. But what's true is that I never set out to make the film with any particular message. I think that's the difference. The idea of segregation and the idea of xenophobia and the idea of metaphors towards apartheid and even contemporary South Africa, modern South Africa, all of those are actively in there on purpose. But nothing is, at least in my mind, because obviously the audience takes it away differently, but in my mind, I didn't tie anything up with a neat bow and go, here's Neill's message. It's not that. Okay. It's just a whole bunch of topics that are on my mind. Okay.
Sharlto, with Vickers, being South African myself, I've met Vickers many times. Like, we all know somebody like Vickers. Is there anybody in particular that you based them on?
There was no particular guy. I think I found the character from a voice, which I guess subconsciously over the years growing up in South Africa, and I mean, I'm South African, I still live here, some of these people are still around, and I very much found that guy from the voice, and I found that if I altered the voice at all, it sort of altered who the character was. So no, there wasn't a particular person, but I can see little amalgamation of stuff.
Of just different people.
And then, especially the way the guy changes as well. He changes quite dramatically, so it's a lot of, I guess, different subconscious influences.
Well, it was brilliantly done. Neill, choosing to shoot in the townships and keep it real, what were your biggest challenges there?
Well, one of the biggest challenges was just finding the location to even be able to do that. I mean, to inherit like 100 shacks, that it's not an easy thing. If you imagine, because in the townships the density of people is immense, right? So if you go into a normal township and you try to set up cameras and try to own that environment for a few months, you're gonna like learn the hard way. It's not gonna work out for you. So just finding the place itself was incredibly difficult. And once we did that, there was this area in Chiawelo where they were being moved out to RDP housing. We kind of inherited this area, so we lucked out. And then beyond that, on a day-to-day basis, it was difficult. I mean, it was really difficult, just on one hand, you realize that these people live here every day and they sleep there. And we were there in winter. It was freezing. And then the other part of it is we get to go home every night. It was still tough on us.
And they have to stay.
Yeah. So it was pretty grueling. I mean, it was not easy, but it served its purpose 100% because it looks so authentic and it feels so gritty and real. You can't make that stuff up.
You can't do that like on a soundstage and stuff. Okay, and then is there any kind of homage to the Parktown prawn in this film? Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, when I realized the creatures needed to be insects, I mean, this actually gets pretty interesting because Peter Jackson's world-famous visual effects company, the multiple Oscar-winning company, its name is Weta, right? Everybody knows Weta, especially in the film industry. And a Weta is a New Zealand Parktown prawn, which is the weirdest thing in the world. So they named their company after what we think is a Parktown prawn. And when I went there, I was like, that's a Parktown prawn. And they were like, no, that's a Weta. And then when I looked it up, the only two places on Earth that this insect comes from is New Zealand and South Africa.
So now we fight about rugby and the origin of the correct name for the park.
But there's definitely some influences in there because it's, there's some. But there's lots of
one that size would be a bit more, a bit more terrifying. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cool.